Hello, this is Cartoon Conversations, your actually viewer having podcast. We would like to thank you, our viewer, who probably exists. As you can tell, we're pretty excited that we actually learned the world's most basic editing and managed to post a YouTube video. So,
I don't know why they allow us on the internet either.
Yes, it's a real open mystery. Okay, so do you want to introduce our big question of the day, Elliot?
I don't even know what our big question is, man.
You're the one who thought of it.
I did? Oh, sure, yeah. So in this episode, they make another reference to government and governmental fighting. Well, I guess fighting's between nations. Which is sort of like a reference to the first episode, where, you know, they had a bit of a struggle with that one as well.
Wait, this was a civil war.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, this was a civil war in a nation.
Well, I mean, the first one was still governmental and all that.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to get out the foreigners, and I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Yeah. All right.
And the foreigners meaning everybody.
Yeah.
Mostly the U.S.
Probably mostly the U.S.
Excuse me. That's a meme for your Reddit.
So we're going to look at governments here and how the Justice League deals with bad governments.
Yes, because that is most definitely something that pops up every now and then in this show.
That is definitely something that pops up, and I love how they keep hitting this theme, even though they haven't introduced the main villain of this theme yet.
Right.
If you have seen the episodes, they're just wailing on it and setting it up in such a great way.
Definitely.
But if you haven't seen it before, you're like, oh, this is, just fun filler. And the DC loves to do this. They do this in Young Justice, too. Even more, that...
What do you mean?
If you watch the first couple episodes of Young Justice, there's so much foreshadowing. The whole thing is so well planned out. But if you don't know where it's going, it kind of sucks.
Yeah,
because you're
totally
like, oh my god, all of these jokes fail. This is terrible. But if you know where they're going, it's brilliant. So,
like how Robin keeps detaching the first part of every word that he knows.
I think that was just a good joke.
Yeah,
but I was thinking the hello, Megan.
Oh yeah,
and how that was actually how she thought Earth people were because she only saw the one season of that show, Hello, Megan.
Well, only one season existed because it was a crappy show.
It was a pretty crappy show. So, either way. They did a lot of good, subtle things like that with Artemis, too. I'm backtracking. I think this is something... Maybe another time, if we ever look at a different show, we could look to see if this is something that DC does.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm going to start the episode breakdown. We open on Hephaestus, smith of the gods, working at his forge.
Of the forge.
Ares comes in and demands...
Didn't he make Zeus's lightning bolt?
Huh?
Didn't he forge Zeus's lightning bolt?
I think he did.
Yeah.
He forged pretty much all the big god stuff.
Yeah, he's like a little crippled dude that just makes everything for everyone and no one gives him any credit for it.
Yeah, he's had a hard life. Especially since he's helping Ares here.
Oh, right.
And in Greek mythology, Ares cuckolded him.
Yeah,
repeatedly.
That was the thing that happened.
And
I'm pretty sure everyone
unapologetically.
cuckolded him because Aphrodite ends up being his wife out of weird pity.
Well, she was ordered to marry him, and she never really wanted to, and he had to live with that. He doesn't like that either. So, if you know the Greek mythology, it adds another great layer to this scene. But if you don't, it works on its own.
Oh, definitely. They don't even call him Hephaestus.
Yeah.
He's just some random smith that has made this massive suit of armor that is literally bitch-slapping the crap out of Ares because he wants it to.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, Ares comes in and just demands his armor in a very boyish way, which fits Ares in Greek mythology, that Ares is this childish man who loves war and violence and is very selfish, and even though he likes killing people, when he gets a small scratch, he runs to his mother.
Right.
That's what you hear about Ares.
Isn't that weird, actually? Because we literally sort of had God, I'm just doing wonders for the English language. We just had an episode that sort of showed a very childish king.
Yeah?
Yeah, like in the last episode, we saw whatever his name was.
Maybe
name I always forget and neither care about. But you know,
Mordred.
he was very much like the same thing. He was playing with a toy, and he was, you know, being told not to.
Maybe it's
Sort of showing, like, you know,
that
what happens
there's
when...
a childishness to villainy.
Yeah. Or, like, what happens if you grow up and you still don't have that, you know, the mental growing up part.
Huh.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Maybe we'll track that theme. If we see another episode like this, maybe we'll make that the big question.
Ooh. Foreshadowing. Ta-dun.
Yes. Next
right.
time on Cartoon Conversations. So,
We just started.
yes.
So, Ares demands the armor. The suit of armor that Hephaestus has just made. Never calls him Hephaestus, but he does note that he's Ares. So we're dealing with the Greek gods right here.
Yeah.
And, yes.
So Hephaestus says it'll be done when it's done.
Yeah.
And he's making the details just right. Ares says it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to kill things. To which he replies, present company... Sorry, it doesn't have to be pretty, and Hephaestus replies, present company excluded.
Of course.
Which is just a great... It's just a great response. I can imagine that if Ares had any self-awareness, he would have just replied, touche. Because that's a great line. Because Ares is this pretty boy. I'll put up a picture of him right now.
I feel like if Ares was paying attention at all to what Hephaestus was saying, he would have you know, berated the crap out of him, because Hephaestus was just being such a dick to him.
Yeah.
Oh, a very snarky remark and whatnot.
So yeah, he was doing that. He goes at great back end, and then he takes the piece out of the fire. He marks it with a symbol, which I think was a cool symbol.
What is that?
I think it was just a symbol they drew. It was like it was a trapezoid with some heat marks coming off it. I just thought it looked nice.
Like the anvil, maybe getting, you know, like,
yeah, maybe something getting hit with an anvil. I don't know. I don't know if it has a relevance in Greek mythology or anything.
Anybody knows, put it on the set.
Yeah, if you know, put it in the comments. So, but I think it was just something somebody drew on the back of a napkin, and it looked nice, so they put it in.
It was a pretty sick-ass napkin.
It was a pretty sick-ass napkin.
But besides that, in a way, actually, we are understanding early on that Hephaestus takes shit from no one, really.
Yeah.
You know, throughout this entire episode, it's like a jerk to every person ever. And he gets, you know, he does whatever he wants.
He might be weaker than you.
Yeah.
But he's smarter than you.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take it.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Tyrion.
Yeah, in a way. He just kind of get kicked around a lot.
He's going to get kicked around, but he's going to leave you with something that's worse than the kicking around you did on him. So, he goes and he puts the breastplate on a giant robot and announces the Annihilator and explains
lightning
that it feeds off hate and violence.
Right.
Ares activates it by drawing a sword, which I thought was just a great moment.
And then literally the suit of armor just starts walking towards him and smacking the crap out of him.
Yeah, he's barely holding it back with his sword.
Yeah.
And
it's not even like trying to punch him, it's literally smacking him.
Yeah.
I loved that. I was like, what the hell?
This sets up your villain pretty well, I think.
Definitely.
Just as a scene, it's fantastic. Because Ares needs no introduction. You know he's a god. Not only is he a god, he's a god of war. So if he's losing, this thing is scary. So, I thought that was a really brilliant way to introduce the Annihilator. So, after that, we get our opening theme. Do, 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 do.
Oh my god, yeah. So, one thing we actually never talked about is the fact that in the opening theme, once it shows the roster of characters we have, it actually then starts showing clips of the episode itself.
Yeah, I don't like that. I wish they had a couple of like the highlights of the season.
The thing that I like about it is that it shows a lot of the action scenes. You know, a lot of the bam with pow, you know, action punching people scenes, or people flying through the air and it gets the people, you know, the watchers, the viewers pumped. It shows you, you know, it doesn't really show you what's going to happen, but it shows you that there will be action. It shows you what you're coming for.
Yeah.
In this one, there were a couple scenes that were actually very important, but the way that it showed, how each clip was very short, and each clip was very, the angling, I guess, was just, it didn't reveal anything. It just got you pumped, like, what's going on? I want to know what's happening, all this action is going to be going on. I can't wait for it. It gets you pumped with the music, the guitar. It is, each riff is just another etching on my heart.
Yeah, I really like the opening, but I don't like the part where they show clips. Because, yeah, I know, but I just think I love it in, say, another show which has a very similar opening, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that they have the same things every season. It's a new set of clips from usually most of the season before and the first couple episodes of that season. And I like that because it gave it like a familiar, fun feel to the opening credits, which I liked. This is still a great opening. I just wish it didn't change from episode to episode.
I think it's fine.
I think because it was animation and because it's an American television show, they don't have the animation to put in there, so it's easier to just shuffle in stuff in each episode.
I feel like it's in a way, it gets you excited for the next episode. You don't just skip the intro. You keep listening to it because the music is great. Yeah. And then you keep watching it because it gets you pumped up for each new episode. You're like, I wonder what's going to happen now. Like, it's everything. It's new every single time, but it's not. It's it's just the episode that's going on, but that in itself is still new. Yeah, and that itself is exciting.
I mean, I like it overall. I think it's a very good opening. So I'm going to stop complaining about what is an excellent opening. So we come out of our opening, and we reopen on some soldiers filing at the Annihilator and a grenade exploding at its feet.
And it just keeps walking.
The smoke clears, and it's ineffective. Air support, equally ineffective. Now we pan to find Ares. Ares in a suit with a militia commander. The commander is impressed and asks who built it. Ares says, "Don't look a gift horse in the mouth."
Yeah.
Ares asks if he's interested, and the commander says, "Anything to protect us from the dogs in the south."
Ares looks real typical devil guy right now. Yeah. He is this pristine cut, blonde-haired guy in a suit. He is tall. He has a devilish smile. I would have never done anything with this guy.
Yeah.
He is offering you literally the answer to your prayers under, with no drawback whatsoever.
The classic.
He says, what does he say? That payment will come when it is, because you're not going anywhere. Don't worry about it. You need this. You guys, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, it's one of those, whatchamacallit? It's one of those, if something's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
Moments.
It probably is. Damn it.
Yeah. So, and this is also where we get our first hint that Kaznia in this episode is supposed to be Yugoslavia. And the DC universe, this is the DC universe equivalent of the Bosnian genocide.
Right.
So I kind of get the impression that the Southerners are weaker, so that would make them Bosnians who, oh my God, Bosnians were Muslim. Let's see, Bosnians were Muslim, Serbs are Orthodox Christians, and Croats are... Croats are Catholic, if I remember correctly. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm completely following with you. Oh my God, he even has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Bosnian Serbs, Orthodox. Jeez. Yep, Bosnians Muslim, Croats Catholic.
He's like Hitler's dream child at the moment.
No, Hitler didn't think well of Eastern and Southern, especially and Southern Europeans. So
I thought the whole blonde hair, blue eyed was the.
No, he liked blonde hair and blue eyed. Yeah, but he liked Aryan much more. And
that's what Ares is right now. He is literally a blonde-haired, blue-eyed giant man in a suit.
Yes, he is. You're right. I thought you were talking about the militia commander.
Oh no, very much no.
Who is a very interesting character.
Yeah.
Actually, in the very little bits we get of him, I would love to sit down with this guy and just talk to him. He seems interesting.
Yeah, he was very much, we need to fight this war because if not, we're going to get slaughtered.
Well, I mean, that makes sense if he's supposed to be Bosnian. That his people were being ethnically cleansed.
That is bad.
So he needs this. In some ways, by giving him the Annihilator, Ares might be doing a good thing.
But
He's not doing a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, he's not doing it for good reasons, but whatever. Regardless.
But if the are supposed to be Bosnian, it's a very good thing to have. So he says pressures from the dogs in the south, showing that there's ethnic hatred. But we know there's a queen of Casnia because she's mentioned later. Sorry. However, he says that at this point he can't afford it. At which point Ares says, you can pay me later.
Yeah, pretty much. He does it in very... I look at him, and the commander just does... He's clearly being led on, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm totally going to accept this. I don't have to care about whatever this guy is really creepily saying to me.
I think it works if you accept the fact that they're supposed to be Bosnian.
Yeah,
and
they're in wartime and they need protection, and this is the answer to their prayers, and he's going to give up, everything just to manage to, to save his life,
to
save all of their lives. So I mean that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Oh, so yeah. So now we jump to machine gun fire. As
oh my god, this is another thing. This is another thing. I'm just real quick. Why?
Why would you fire a machine gun into a bank?
Why would you rob a bank in the middle of the day, one, and not have any masks on? Two, why would you do that in the DC universe? If you don't have powers, there's only two of you, and all you have are machine guns, and there are people like Superman that exist. How do you think you're gonna get away?
Yeah.
I don't.
Why there is crime in the DC universe like that is a little bit sketchy.
Yeah.
But I think that's something we have to whistle past. That you just gotta whistle past that graveyard.
You just gotta accept it. Move on.
Yeah. So we're also gonna whistle past the fact that they fired automatic weapons into, I presume, a crowded bank.
Oh my god.
So we're also gonna ignore the fact that people might be dead. So
maybe they were firing at cops that were undercover, not under. Well,
yeah, I like to think that they were not undercover. They were under, a table or something.
Behind cover is what I mean.
Behind cover. Thank you.
Rah.
So, in a bank, they get into a getaway car, but are stopped by Wonder Woman, which in a really dumb moment, they are evil. Not only did they just fire a machine gun into a bank, they see a woman standing in the middle of the road. And they speed up.
Well, they're trying to get away after robbing a bank.
No, I get it. But usually, you honk the horn to, have them get out of the way or something.
They fired an open gun. They fired a gun into an open bank. I don't think they care about life at the moment.
No, they don't. But you don't feel bad for them because they're this evil. Which is going to be important in about 2 minutes.
In about 2 seconds.
Yeah, in about 2 seconds. Yeah. So, they're stopped. By Wonder Woman.
Well,
sorry?
What you see so far is this woman is standing in the middle of the road, and they drive right into her, and she punches the car, and the car explodes pretty much. Yeah. The car shatters, and they fly out and hit a bus, and you see it's actually Wonder Woman in street clothes.
I love that she's in street clothes.
Yeah, she's
I like to think that she's alive.
And she's complaining so much about it.
And so she's just so annoyed at them for ruining her day off.
Yeah.
He fires at her, and she just blocks it with her wrist bracelets.
I don't think they're there, but whatever.
Ellie doesn't think she has them on under. And she probably is bulletproof. If you shot Wonder Woman in the leg, probably she would notice, but they made it hit her wrist, and she moved her wrist around. So I think that she had her bracelets on under her shirt. We'll never know.
Whatever. But
So-
like the guy, oh my god, I
Yeah,
love these
and then-
little scenes.
You can tell the scene.
Yeah, okay, so the guy is literally shooting. He's being pinned down by the unconscious body of his friend, and he's shooting at Wonder Woman as she slowly walks forward and deflects every bullet, and he's freaking out at the moment. And then literally, he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And he takes the gun, and he aims to throw it at her. You know, like, throw the gun that he was just shooting bullets, and the bullets were very much ineffective. And so Wonder Woman just stops and looks at him and says, you know, you really think it's gonna work?
And it's just so delightfully condescending.
Yeah.
As if he were like slime on her foot.
Oh my god.
So,
Not even worth the XP.
yeah. So, she says, yeah, that's gonna work. She almost goes, then she starts beating the robber. And she almost goes too far, but is
Yeah.
stopped by Martian Manhunter. Which brings up a very important question.
What?
Would she have killed that guy by
Would
beating
she
him?
have killed him? I don't think intentionally.
Well, certainly not intentionally.
Yeah.
No one is
she
saying that she
might-
would intentionally kill someone.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
But
I
this is
feel like
going
she
too far.
could've
This
stopped.
is superhero brutality.
Yeah.
This is very concerning. And it makes you wonder why no one controls these superheroes, you know? If a cop did this,
Oh man, Jordan, that's a good question you bring up.
okay,
Maybe we'll talk
I
about
know
that
in
later.
real life cops often get away with stuff like this, for instance.
Oh yeah.
A rough ride or other things that they do like that, mostly to minority communities. But it's still wrong.
Yeah, very much so.
And
Of course it's wrong.
so yeah, seeing someone get beaten over the
Tinder
top
cat.
was hard to watch, but it leads to something, so it's worth watching.
Yeah,
So
thank
later,
God
we're in
Martian
the
Man-
invisible plane, and Martian Manhunter is on the Skype with her.
She's Skyping with it.
I mean, they didn't really have video technology back then, so they had proto Skype. I don't know.
Proto Skype.
So that a
Martian
civil
Manhunter
war in
says she's done and calls
Casnia,
her into action.
yeah, which could lead to World War III. She says something that's just delightfully ironic. She goes, "What's wrong with people's hostility is their answer to everything."
Yeah.
Literally 10 seconds ago, she was beating a guy to work out her aggression.
Right.
So, I just loved that line. I don't think the writers realized it was ironic, though.
I think they did, because they make reference to that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, she learns that throughout this episode. She really does. Hephaestus makes
No,
a reference
she
to
learns-
that. Dove makes a reference to that, and she's the one that realizes how to defeat the machine in the end.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
no,
of, you know...
you're right. I think they do realize the irony, and that she's
Yeah.
got to have that sort of Han Solo. She's at her somewhat immoral stage now, and she's going to be at her moral stage at the end.
She's her Han Solo right
It's
now.
a Han Solo storyline, you know? Where in the beginning, you're not really a good person, but you learn through the events, and you become a good person.
Everyone can't be Han Solo. It doesn't make sense. Isn't that like
So-
what Firefly is described as?
Firefly is Star Wars if the rebellion had lost.
I thought it was like... Well, I thought it was like
And,
a bunch
yeah,
of
the
people
main
on a
character
ship
is
and
kind of
everyone
Han
is Han
Solo.
Solo or something.
But he's not really Han Solo because he starts out as Luke and then he becomes Han Solo. I guess that would be the way to put it. It would basically be like Luke, they lost the rebellion and now he's doing his best Han Solo.
Oh, right.
Impression.
I remember that. He was fighting in like a war.
Yeah. So,
In the war.
yes. Yeah, that's a great show. Okay, so
The bad.
they're talking about it, and Martian Manhunter, to his credit, calls her on it, and he cites examples of when she's gone too far hurting people. And Wonder Woman defends her actions very strongly. She's like, and these people deserved it, and these people deserved it, and these people deserved it. And the more she says it, the more you realize that not only did they not, is this a problem for her? It's a recurring problem.
Right.
And on some level, she knows it.
Right.
Because she wouldn't feel the need to defend herself like this if she wasn't guilty.
Yeah, and I like how Martian Manhunter responds. He doesn't, try to fight her back on that.
Yeah.
He just kind of like, he says, it's one of those.
He goes to the mission and lets her think about it, because he knows when she's defending herself like that.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those mom answers,
Yeah.
he said, what, you're right, whatever, just go do your work that you need to do, and revel in your being right.
Yeah.
It's one of those very, very sarcastic, because he couldn't continue fighting with her because he knew he was going to get nowhere. She needed to cool off, and
he knew on some level that she knew he was right. Yeah. And that by not bothering her, it increased the chances that she would come around to his point.
I don't know.
We're 40 minutes in. We should probably speed up a little.
Yeah.
So he directs her to Hawk and Dove.
Well, we're not 40 minutes in. Remember, we were talking before this.
No. Oh, you're right. Sorry, we are 26 minutes in. Sorry, we're actually not doing too bad on time.
Well.
So, we go to Hawk and Dove, who are in a bar fight, because Dove has some liberal views, and the Fox News hooligans attack them for insulting some equivalent of the Iraq War in the DC Universe, which it's awesome that there's an Iraq War in the DC Universe. I mean, it's terrible that they should have to go through that horrible
They do. I
image,
like that. And
but it's kind of awesome that they're addressing current events.
Well, I like
so
the
much
fact
in
that
this episode.
They were blaming them for certain things that, they weren't very cliche. They were very real. They were very realistic. They were like, you're not being patriotic and you don't, care enough for what's going on at the moment. Yeah, and it's like a whole battle of viewpoints.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, someone had stepped on someone's shoe or made someone else spill their drink. It was they were getting into an argument over, politics.
The most politically savvy hooligans ever. But also this episode was written in August 2004, right before the 2004 presidential election. So I really felt that Bush-Kerry vibe going on there. I don't know. And I have fond memories of that election going for Kerry.
Seeing where that got you.
Yeah, and that led to a lot of heartbreak. But it was the first... Well, there was the first election... It wasn't the first election I followed, but it was the first election I both followed and was intelligent enough to truly understand what was going on.
Right.
So, I have fond memories of that election.
Right.
Okay. So,
carrying on.
So Dove continues to try to mediate the conflict.
Yeah, he tries to talk everyone out of it.
But Hawk just punches the guy.
Yeah.
There's some good back and forth between Hawk and Dove, and which he says preemptive strike, another Iraq.
Oh yeah,
reference.
no, he's like, why don't you say something? And then he punches the guy in the face, turns to Dove and says preemptive strike.
Yeah.
It's like, there, I said something.
So
I contributed.
That was just another great Iraq reference, because that's the Bush doctrine right there, preemptive strikes. So they transform into Hawk and Dove, which seems like way overkill for fighting some goons.
Oh, right.
It fits their characters, because Dove maybe thinks it scares them off.
Yeah,
and Hawk wants to punch things. So he's always willing to transform for a fight. But it's kind of way over. So they demolish the racially diverse hooligans. While they banter about their Fox News versus MSNBC politics. Genially. So I love here how Hawk and Dove, they completely disagree on everything. But more than they disagree, they love each other way too much.
Oh yeah, they complete each other.
Yeah.
And
without the other one, it would be bad. In the comics, at one point Dove dies, and even though they have this love-hate relationship and there's a little bit of hate there, Hawk goes a little crazy because he doesn't have Dove restraining him, and he realizes how much he always depended on Dove, and so he gives up his powers. to somebody else because he can't trust himself with them anymore without Dove's restraining influence.
Right. They've had a few different renditions of Hawk.
They've had a lot of renditions, and they're all pretty cool. So,
I like the one where Dove ends up actually being a woman.
Dove.
Who falls in love with Deadman at one point.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, it was weird. But carrying on, after they start beating up the hooligans.
They do that, and Wonder Woman arrives, and in a greatly framed scene.
Oh my god, right, yeah.
Props to the director for this, Joaquim Dos Santos, for setting that up really nicely.
She just like opens the bar door, and it's a shining lighting moment or something like Jesus just arrives.
It was great. It felt like kind of like a Western entrance because everything just focused on her. I loved it. There's nothing about that setup I didn't like. So she throws open the door, and everyone turns. And she basically says, "Get your butts in gear.
Yeah.
We're going to Kaznia." So.
Pack your bags. We're going to fight a war.
Cut to the enemies of the militia, as we have found out the Southern dogs. And we see earlier that the Southerners, who are supposed to be our Serbs for this show...
This is the other side, not the ones that have the Annihilator.
Yes, this is the side. So they were, before the Annihilator, much more powerful. And they were wiping out, potentially ethnically cleansing the Northerners. So, they are led by a balding monk who preaches violence against the Northern dogs.
Yeah, saying that they deserve the land and whatnot. You know, their bloodline is true.
Yeah, which also, dogs... Dogs made more sense when it was the Southerners who were Bosnian, because dog is like a great insult in Arab cultures, in Muslim cultures in general too. There's all sorts of stuff about how having a dog makes you unclean, and dogs can't touch food, or it's not halal, sort of stuff like that. I read about, so don't quote me on the dogs can't touch stuff with their halal.
But
I read that in
the
the Times a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it doesn't make as much sense here, but it still works, and this pumps up the troops, who are all excited to kill the Northerners, and their priest is revealed through a fire cut, like fire comes over Hades.
Yeah, a little flame ripples up over the body, and you realize it's Hades. Hades is transformed into this priest and is inspiring, the side of the war.
Yeah.
Why?
And this is a classic thing Greek gods do. It very much felt like the Odyssey, when Athena goes into the suitors and stirs them up to do something.
Right.
Or in the Iliad, where a god comes down to it. It felt very Greek. I liked that moment.
Yeah.
But that's what Greek gods do.
Yeah, you wonder what Ares is, what's his game plan? Why does he give one side the Annihilator and he starts stirring up the other side, like Rebel crying? And you start to realize, maybe he doesn't really have an end game. Maybe it's just to make war is his end game. And you start to see it later on, It's literally what he's just trying to do. He loves war. He revels in it. And that's why he had the Annihilator made. It feeds off of rage and power and anger. And it just keeps fighting. It's indestructible.
Yeah, he just doesn't... He doesn't have a great planning sense, and it fits into his villains are little boys theme.
Yeah, this is just fun to him.
Oh, in the first episode. Shoot, this villains is... It fits all the episodes so far.
What?
The villains are little boys. Because in the first one, you have the general, who is really immature, who can't admit that he needs help. Then in 2, you have Mongol, who is really immature. He says the sexist things. He makes jokes when he's fighting a serious opponent. He taunts and explains his plan instead of just defeating the heroes.
Right.
So... And then kid stuff, obviously. Mordred is very... And then in this one, you have Ares, who's very childish. Yeah, I think that theme is a good point. Good catch, Elliot.
Or maybe you could even say it's what do people do with power? In situations of power, how do they go about using it,
Yeah.
Like, they're abusing what they have. They're just out to to gain something, at the cost of everyone else around them. Like Mongol was just doing it to sort of, get the upper hand on everyone. He was beating down Superman regardless of what was happening, in a really very heinous manner. Mordred was just taking over the world pretty much. He sacrificed, the well-being of all of the parents and pretty much all the kids as well. And Ares is just doing this for the hell of it. And each one of these people is in a seat of power. And we see, what they're doing with this said power. How crappy they become. And how it goes awry completely.
Yeah, I think this show says something about power.
And government.
And how power corrupts if it's not surrounded by this discipline that is the League.
Right.
That this League needs to be there because it brings the heroes together and it keeps them in check. It puts their energy into useful things. So yeah, I really like that idea of power in the DC universe. So, we now jump to a war scene where the Northerners are being outclassed by the Southern troops. But the Annihilator steps in and it turns the tide.
Yeah, the Annihilator literally just starts chucking tanks and backhanding people. It's nuts.
The Annihilator loves to throw tanks.
Oh my god, there are so many scenes of the Annihilator.
I don't know how the Southerners have that many tanks.
Picking up the tanks and running around with them.
Yeah, I don't know where they got all those tanks. But
they're the more militarized ones.
Everywhere. No, I get they're the more militarized one. But they're both in Kaznia, and then there is an official Kaznian government on top of these two militias.
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
Those tanks are in the tens, maybe.
Yeah. So,
regardless.
So there's at least 3 sides in this Civil War. There's the...
Well, we only see 2 at the moment.
We only see 2 of them. But Martian Manhunter mentions to Wonder Woman that there is an official government of Kaznia that asks for their assistance to quiet this conflict.
Right.
So, that's what they are. Then, let's see.
Oh, don't forget the scene that happens while Hawk and Dove are talking to each other in the jet.
Oh, yeah, in the jet.
I thought that was a really great scene because it shows a little bit more of the personalities. It's not that, Hawk is big, stupid, and strong.
No, he's
they
very
both
smart.
made some good points.
Yeah, it's this classic 2004 left-right debate. Hawk
where it's
talks
literally
about this
blue and
idea.
red.
It's this very Reagan-era idea of peace through strength, where basically you get strong enough, you put money into the Pentagon and missile defense and nuclear deterrent, and that's how you are safe. That's how you get peace.
Yeah, he seemed to be pretty big on anti-government in a way.
Dove talks about education. Dove talks about education and lifting people out of poverty as the way to peace.
Right.
So it's really good. And Wonder Woman, I think her instincts are more with Hawk, but her politics are more with Dove. So she's kind of split between the two, and she's the nice synthesis of the three.
Sort of like a mediator.
Can you make a golden trio out of them? Let's see.
Once again, a big
Dove would be the Logos. No, it doesn't really work.
I don't know what the hell the golden trio is.
Golden trio. 3 characters, you'll see it in most shows. Logos, pathos, and ethos. Basically.
Oh, wait, isn't that
You have the logical character.
Right.
You have the emotional character who carries the emotional weight of the show.
Yeah.
But who's kind of a bit hot-headed or something
theory?
like that. And then you have the ethos, who is the ethical center, who brings the other 2 together and fuses them into more than the sum of the parts.
Is that Freudian theory? Or...
I honestly don't remember. I just remember Golden Trio theory. Sorry.
It reminds me of Metropolis, actually. But regardless.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, they have two sides to each argument, and they're both well-versed in it. They both have different versions of how they fight. They both have, while Hawk is very straightforward.
He's a bar brawler.
Yeah, he's a bar brawler.
And Dove looks like he does Aikido, I guess.
Yeah, Dove isn't weak. He's very, parry-oriented, has grapples, and is controlling of the environment.
Yeah. I love... He's someone who is just a joy to watch him fight.
He's so funny because he keeps trying to, dissuade people from fighting while he's beating them up.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, we could talk about this. And he just, punches you in the face.
Yeah. It's the most unaggressive fighting ever.
Right. So back to the war.
Yes. So they go into the war scene, and the Northerners are class. The Annihilator does it, and our trio steps in and tries to stop the fight and save lives.
Yes.
However, they see that they won't be able to do anything until the Annihilator is stopped. So Hawk and Wonder Woman actually devise a pretty good plan.
Which was...
You don't see them devise it, but they work together in a coordinated fashion. And Hawk distracts the Annihilator by throwing stones at it, while Wonder Woman picks it up and basically gives it a spin around and seismic tosses it. That's what I was looking for. So
she deals damage based on her level.
Yes. Well, in the show, this is some serious nerd stuff. But in the show, when Charizard uses seismic toss, this is
oh my god, he
flies
in the
air,
around.
spins it, and then throws him down.
I love that.
Like the actual seismic toss, it isn't actually that good of an attack, though.
Yeah.
Because the Annihilator just gets back up unfazed. Hawk asks how they fight it, and Wonder Woman says, "Hit it till it breaks."
I fucking love that, yeah.
Which is great because it fits in this overly violent characterization we've been given of Wonder Woman before.
Mm-hmm. It's also a little bit more of, how she doesn't give up. Yeah. She's very persistent. She's not going to back down from that fight. But it also shows, she's very headstrong at the moment. It's making the recurring theme of, how Martian Manhunter was saying before. She goes overboard. She's she's very angry at the moment.
Yeah.
This is the episode that explains, Wonder Woman can get really headstrong.
She has some good character growth in this episode, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like actual character growth.
Yeah. So. Sorry about that. They charge the Annihilator, but are knocked back. And Wonder Woman sees the symbol on the Annihilator, which Hephaestus made earlier, and realizes what it means.
Yes.
And they just cut. They didn't have to do this, but it's a great moment. They cut to her face, and you just see her scared. And it takes a lot to scare Wonder Woman. Like, she would fight this until she died if she hadn't seen that symbol and known where it came from. But knowing where it came from, she's scared. And
I want to see that, I don't remember her being scared.
It's just a 1 second flit onto her face, and she's scared, and she runs away with Hawk and Dove.
I don't think she's scared. More of she's, realizing it. She notices it, and she's like, wait a minute.
Oh, you got a Eureka moment from that face?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Where are we at? 43:31. Okay, so I'm going to put it up. I'm going to try and put up that face. Hey, Elliot, are you there? Elliot?
I'm here.
Okay, you're there. Sorry,
I exist in the world.
It said speakers are mute, so I wanted to make sure you could hear.
Here I am.
Okay, so I'll put up Wonder Woman's face, and in the comments, you guys see if you think it's fear or if it's Eureka.
Realization. Because I don't think she was very forceful with that, I also like how Hawk and Dove reacted after that.
Yeah.
Hawk was mad because they were retreating.
Yeah.
He was like, Dove was like, she saved your life. He was like, saving your life would have been 2 yards back. This is a full-on retreat.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that was actually really good of an explanation.
Yeah. And the voice acting is really good, actually, with Hawk and Dove.
Who does it again?
It's Fred Savage and Jason Hervey, who were brothers on The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
little older family sitcom. Fred Savage is a lot more grown up.
He's
now,
in The Grinder now,
huh?
which is supposed to be a pretty good show.
Oh, that one with Rob Lowe.
Yeah, with Rob Lowe.
I haven't seen much with Rob Lowe except for Moonbeam City, and that's goddamn hilarious.
He's a very talented actor. You should watch The West Wing.
He's in The West Wing?
Yeah, he's in the first couple seasons of The West Wing, and he's so fantastic in it. Okay,
All right.
so, sorry,
More
that
Paul.
was going off tangent.
Very much so.
Let's see. Hawk wanted to continue, but Dove wishes he could get the leaders to talk. And Hawk says, "What are you going to do, kidnap them?" To which Wonder Woman says, "Get on that."
Yeah!
I love that. Wonder Woman just has no respect for leaders.
Do you think she was
Like-
being serious with that, or is just like, I'm gonna go do this, you guys do whatever? So that was like her snarky, her like, yeah, whatever response. Like they could
So,
have said
no,
anything
I think she meant it. I think she just doesn't have respect
for the leaders.
for these governments that John Jones or John Stewart has.
Yeah.
Because
Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter.
I think she doesn't think twice about... These aren't real government officials even. They're just heads of militias, illegal militias who they've been there to stop.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman doesn't care if you kidnap them. I think the show comes up against her on that. I think the show says this was a bad idea and it goes badly. So now Wonder Woman goes to Hephaestus's smithy.
Smithy.
Yes. And let's see. It's reeling its office. Oh, sorry, no. Before that, we have a scene. So after the battle,
Right.
the Northern leader is relaxing in his office, celebrating a victory by working. And when he's confronted by Ares demands that the Northern leader march, at which point the Northern leader says there's no point, because the Southerners are all out of his land, which I love that moment. It shows that this Northern leader isn't a bad person.
Yeah.
He just wants to protect his people.
He wants peace. He wants to be free to do whatever he wants to do.
It makes Ares so much of a better villain.
Which is eat chips and jerk off. But that's beside
Because he's tricked this guy. It makes him so much more evil because this is an illegitimately good guy who just wants to protect his people.
Yeah.
Not many militia people, given that weapon in his situation, would. He's clearly restraining the people who he controls because they're perfectly willing to go and kill the Southerners. But
yeah,
he's
they would have
holding them
gone
back.
full on scorched earth, killing every goddamn last one of them.
That's like-
he's just like, all we need is to be let live.
And
to be
considering that these are supposed to be a people that was on the verge, being ethnically cleansed, on the verge of being wiped out, that is like a Nobel Peace Prize level of restraint. It's pretty amazing. I love that moment. And you could go past it, but I thought it was great. So Ares is just furious at his lack of aggression. And the Northern leader, I love this, insults Ares by calling him a Southern Casnian.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because it underlines how good he is. That even though he hates these people, he considers them subhuman, he's still not going to kill them. So, and he says, I'm not going to wipe him out. He only wants to keep his land. Ares is so infuriated that he launches into a speech about how mortals are only good for amusing him by killing each other. Ares reveals himself, another flame effect, and says he's going to take over for the Northern leader. Now, we jump to Wonder Woman descending on Hephaestus's forge. They banter for a bit.
Definitely. It's not really banter. It's more of just Wonder Woman yelling at Hephaestus, and Hephaestus just does not care.
Yeah.
Hephaestus is making fun of Wonder Woman, making fun of Wonder Woman's mother, saying that he made it originally for her, and he would love to take her to bed, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, Hephaestus is a dirty old man in this universe. Which, yeah, I mean, it's his character.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman he says he makes a weakness in everything, and he says, you wouldn't want me to tell you what people's weaknesses are in your armor.
Yeah, you
Which
wouldn't
it's
want me to
obvious.
go around spreading how to
You could
get
shoot
rid
her
of
in the
your-
leg. There is no armor on the leg. Clear weakness. Same thing in the neck. I'm just saying, weakness is pretty clear.
I mean, it probably gives her some kind of bonuses to defense. It's like D&D armor or something. You know? It's in
Yes. Yes, it's +10/+10, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's really good in D&D, though. So...
Gives her sick-ass rage powers. I don't know.
Yes. Okay, so I guess the armor has a weakness. So, Wonder Woman asks for the Annihilator's weakness, and Hephaestus explains that leaves a weakness in all of his creations. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't tell Wonder Woman.
Right.
She throws him, which is pretty ballsy, because he's a god.
Yeah.
And she goes, great Hera, and she clearly has a lot of respect for the gods. So it kind of shows her desperation that she's willing to, how should I put this? She's willing to manhandle a god.
I feel like it's once again, proving she's enraged at the moment.
Yeah.
And they even make a reference to that again. She chucks Hephaestus, and Hephaestus, I can't remember what he says.
And he responds saying, with that attitude, you'll never figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's another one. They keep making reference to the fact that Wonder Woman was completely enraged at this point.
Yeah.
And she was not calming down.
But I will say, to her credit here...
Oh, that was also a hint at how to defeat the fucking thing, by the way.
That's a hint?
Yeah.
And she gets it right away.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she does, because she's going to punch him. And then she backs off once he says that, because she's realized it.
I don't think that she realizes it. I think later on, I can tell the exact scene where she realizes it. I can give you fucking...
Really? I thought that's where she realizes it. Okay.
It looks like she realizes it. I think she was just calming down, realizing that this was getting her nowhere.
Yeah.
Beating up Hephaestus he wasn't going to talk.
Yeah.
That's why she leaves, and she doesn't even respond to him when he makes that comment about loosening up her armor. Which was such a dirty old man thing to say.
Oh, God, so dirty. So yeah, that happens.
Yeah. And she flies off, and they show Hawk and Dove trying to go and kidnap their respective officers.
So we go to Dove first, and Dove does his best Vulcan pinch on the guard.
Oh my God, right, yeah.
And says, sorry, but if this works, you'll live to 20.
Yeah,
which is just
another
heartbreakingly sad that there is children's soldiers in the DC universe. You see why they're sending the Justice League is sending their best to Casnia to try and save these people.
He could have made some snappy comment about going to sleep or whatever, but instead he made that remark about his age.
Yeah, it was so in character for Dove. And it was so just heartbreaking. Definitely. And it so fits that this is Yugoslavia. Everything about it was fantastic.
Like a sliver.
So the Northern leader is unimpressed by Dove's offer of peace. Mm-hmm. And that's explained when he reveals himself as Ares. And
who uses the same fire effect to reveal himself once again.
Always the same fire effect.
From the bottom to the top, he explodes into flames and turns back into Ares. Yeah. And Dove is like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Dove, to his credit, somehow recognizes Ares and knows something's wrong. So, at the Southern camp, Hawk kidnaps the Southern leader, who is this general who was standing next to the bald-faced priest.
Right.
Monk, I guess.
The monk.
Yeah. So he kidnaps him. He just literally ties him up because he's Hawk, and that's his direct solution to things.
Oh my God, yeah.
But is stopped by an attack on the camp. They fight, and Hawk is keeping back until he sees Dove strapped to the Annihilator, at which point he drops the Southern leader and rescues Dove.
Oh my God, he's enraged.
He's so angry when he sees Dove. He loves his brother. They might banter, and he might say, yeah, that's why some of the smartest people work in the Pentagon exasperatedly. But if you are going to hurt Dove, he is going to come at you and not stop.
And pick up a tree and smack the Annihilator in the face.
Yeah, like he is not someone to be messed with if you're hiring Death. So, and Ares is just gleefully striding through the carnage.
Oh,
which
yeah,
so
they showed
fits
one
his
of the
character
soldiers.
from Greek mythology, that he rides in his flying chariot through battle, taking people's lives, just for the sheer enjoyment of it.
Yeah, they literally show a soldier looking off to the side, and he's watching Ares just like walk through battle, bitch slapping people and looking at all the explosions, like he's watching one of his favorite TV shows.
He's so excited
He's so
at
happy.
the violence. He loves it.
Look at that cute face.
Yeah. So, Wonder Woman tries to get the people to stop. She comes in and she says it. Which
She
is
tries to
why
do her
I
best
think
Dove.
now... Which is why I think that she knew after Hephaestus gave her the hint. I think she knew right away.
I feel like, you understand that. But, actually, yeah, maybe what happened right there was also more of her understanding she also had an anger problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I guess that works too, yeah. All right. She definitely realized something right there. When that guy smacked her in the face and she was about to have none of it.
Yeah.
She was literally about to pour a bucket full of who gives a shit all over him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
That was fantastic.
Wonder Woman tries to get the people to stop unsuccessfully because, yelling in the middle of a battle, stop fighting, generally not known to be effective.
I'm pretty sure that works like all the time. 100%, man.
Yeah, I was in Fallujah once and I did it. Totally worked.
Yo.
So, what was it? Wonder Woman So Dove tries to go person to person, stopping them, but the Annihilator's unstoppable.
Right.
And the Annihilator's going to kill the Southern leader, but Dove saves him. Wonder Woman tries to stop a soldier from firing. He says he doesn't take orders from a woman and hits her in the face with the butt of his gun.
And then Wonder Woman,
barely
Wonder Woman
turns her cheek,
Oh, God.
and he realizes who he just hit.
Yeah, no, he looks at her as she turns back at him, and I think at that moment, his entire life flashed before his eyes.
I imagine at the barest minimum, he had a bowel movement.
Yeah, right. His pants have currently been filled.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that look in her eyes.
Yeah.
Just
She is furious.
Oh God.
But she's also learned her lesson.
Yeah, so true.
And she doesn't strike him.
Yeah, she's about to kill him.
Character
she
growth. So wonderful.
Oh my God. She rips the gun from his hand and he's about to start bashing him over the head in it.
Yeah.
And then she becomes, she has like a little epiphany. She realizes, maybe she too has been so engulfed in rage. These people are so lesser compared to her. She has the ability to turn the other cheek because of how strong she is. Maybe she, maybe these people deserve a little bit more leniency because she can give it.
Yeah.
She remembers back to maybe the other robber, the cop, Robert. God, I said cop. I don't know why. The other robber that she was pummeling mercilessly and thinking, he doesn't deserve it. But maybe now they do. Maybe she understands a bit more.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's a really good point. So, the Annihilator is coming up on a group of soldiers there who's the last line of defense for the southern camp. And they're firing and they're firing and they're firing. And it's not effective at all. And Dove stands between the two.
Yeah.
All peaceful.
Screaming.
And Dove. And
hold your fire. Put
and he
down
says, hold your
gun."
fire. And they don't want to. At which point Dove points out that their fire has been completely useless and why would it be effective now?
Yeah.
Which, to their credit, that kind of convinces them. That's an impressive amount of logic for a battle sequence.
To his credit, pretty much.
Yeah, to both Dove and the soldiers' credit.
Mm-hmm.
So the Annihilator is menacingly charging.
Yeah, the enemy camp. He's just walking forward, not caring about their fire and the explosions, and he's going, for one single purpose, to destroy
the Southerners' camp.
To annihilate. There you go.
Yeah, to annihilate.
Sorry, I forgot about that part.
And he's coming up on Dove, and Hawk goes to save him, but Wonder Woman holds him back. And Hawk is terrified for his brother.
Oh my God! Right? He's
terrified.
He's got to fight Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, he's trying to fight Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's gonna kill him.
Yeah, Wonder Woman could slap him around 3 times to Sunday and barely even muss her hair.
She's not gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
but Hawk was gonna fight her, pretty much just to get to Dove to save him.
Which is just a great moment of how much he loves his brother.
Yeah.
So Dove just stands there as the Annihilator lifts his arm against him. The soldiers lower their weapon, and the Annihilator is stopped.
The Annihilator pauses. The little lights that flicker out on his shine on his mask thing flicker out. He's been turned off, and he does nothing. Saved the day.
Yes.
I remember when I was younger, I really didn't understand what that meant. Like, how did he know to do that? How did he know that, standing before him and not fighting would have stopped him from fighting? I remember.
Well, he's Dove. He's this character of peace. I like to think, because not all the aggression from the battle was done, but Dove in the comics has this aura of peace around him. Mm-hmm. So I like to think that the Annihilator was stopped both by a lessening of it and also the aura of peace that Dove has.
Well, that's not what I was referring to. What I was saying is that, as a kid, I didn't immediately get the fact that he was fueled or attracted to violence and anger. So an act of utter peace would have kind of stopped him.
Yeah. Kind of like a Dementor in Harry Potter.
They don't actually... The Minotaur, did you say?
A Dementor in Harry Potter.
Or Dementor. Oh, there's a Minotaur.
You stop it with a Patronus, which is pure happiness and goodness.
Oh. Sure. Right. They never do entirely say, before this instant that, he becomes it said that he feeds off of rage and violence.
Yeah.
But it never said, to stop him, you would get the opposite. They were very, I guess, metaphorical with that. They only gave it in hints that would be explained. Like, Wonder Woman doesn't shout that out to Dove or to Hawk. She just says, like he's stopping him. I'm wondering if I don't know, maybe I was stupid as a kid, but if other kids or other people would have gotten that immediately, that Hawk knew by using peace would have quelled the demon armor.
I think that's his general strategy.
Yeah. Well, that is his general strategy, but he was sure it would work. Like, he was not moving.
I like to think Wonder Woman told him.
Yeah.
I think he heard and understood from what Wonder Woman said.
I mean, definitely, they all understood. They perceived it, and I feel like we would have as well as adults. But that's because we would have, we were with Wonder Woman the entire time, talking to Hephaestus, and yada, yada, yada. But, still, he knew that would happen. It's crazy. Whatever that leads to, but regardless.
So the soldiers lower their weapons, and the Annihilator is stopped.
Yes.
Hawk asks what happened, and Wonder Woman explains to him. Ares demands to know why they aren't fighting. The soldiers say nothing, and he realizes he's lost. At which point he says he'll be back, and almost repeats Dove's talking points from earlier in the episode, which I thought was clumsy. To be honest, especially since you had all this Bush versus Kerry stuff. I'm a huge John Kerry fan.
Right. I didn't like it because it was very cliche.
Yeah,
how he explains.
It was bad because it made you seem like you were taking a side in the 2004 election, which I remember the 2004 election because I'm a political buff. But
kids weren't a part of that.
Kids weren't part of that.
What I'm referring to is the way that Ares left.
That joke doesn't land. So, I thought that wasn't great.
What I was referring to is the way Ares left. He was saying, wherever there is ignorance and violence and hate, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, like, what a cookie cutter villain thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, this wasn't great. So Hawk refuses to admit he's wrong, even though the villain just said it.
Oh my god, yeah. That was hilarious. Dove is like, finally, can't you see, after everything I've been saying, it's finally a little bit true? And Hawk is pretty much like, I wasn't listening to you at all, so whatever.
Yeah. So.
Good one.
That wasn't great. And
I thought it was fun. How did you feel about the ending, though?
The very ending, I loved. That the Northern and Southerners still don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, they still hate each other. But they're going to stop killing each other.
You could clearly see that they really didn't get along that well, but they came to a consensus of peace.
Yeah.
In a way.
And it shows how this world is a better place thanks to the Justice League.
Thanks to the Justice League.
They don't automatically make people better people.
Right.
These people still hate each other.
Right.
But now they hate each other non-violently.
And
which is a big improvement.
Yeah. And there isn't a giant, destroying Annihilator walking around and killing everything.
That's nice. It comes up again where the Annihilator is. I don't remember where it is, though.
What was?
I think the Annihilator shows up again.
Does it?
Justice League Unlimited.
I can't remember.
But I wonder what they did with it. My personal suggestion, shoot it into the sun, but...
It was indestructible, so...
Yeah, the sun might not stop it, but it will be in the middle of the sun. Who could find it? And the gravitation... And if you put it in there, then Superman could put it in there, and no one would be able to get to it, not even Superman. And gravity would pull it.
Jordan, all they would have to do is stand in front of it and not do anything, and that would have stopped it.
Okay.
You don't need to throw it into the sun. You just sit there and blink at it and...
But what if you're fighting a supervillain and the Annihilator? You can't stop fighting the other supervillain.
I don't know.
You gotta do something with it. I think it comes up again, and I think Justice League Unlimited addresses this.
They stopped Ares. Ares wasn't killing everybody.
Yeah, but Ares wasn't really directly risking himself.
Well, I mean, he's not directly risking himself because he's a god, so it'll take a little bit more than that to risk himself. Regardless. What I was saying is how they ended it with no one was saying anything.
Yeah.
It was literally, the two armies looked at each other, kind of just put their weapons down and walked away. And then that was it. It was a slow pan shot out of the little war area, and then credits.
I loved that. I love when they just use silence in any show. It's just quiet.
Dun, dun.
Quiet is such a powerful thing. By not showing something or saying something, you make it so much more powerful.
It really depends. In all honesty, you can have a scene where, that stuff happens. You really, truly explain things through scene imagery and, music and sound play. But sometimes you need explanation.
No, sometimes you need explanation.
But
this is a really beautiful moment of silence.
It was, definitely.
Okay. So.
Yes?
I think... So we started with one big question, but I think we found something more interesting. So do you want to change that to the big question?
What was the thing that we found?
How villainy is inherently childish in the DC universe.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah,
about
I guess
how Ares was so childish?
We definitely see a bit more in terms of character connection between, each one of these people.
Ares
each one
was
of
a
these
lot
villains.
like Mongol, I think.
What?
If I was going to compare him to a villain we've seen earlier in the show, he was a lot like Mongol.
Right.
I
don't know. I would say he
had that sort of racist sexism thing going on.
I don't think he was very sexist.
I don't think he was sexist. Mongol was sexist.
Oh, Mongol was sexist.
Bigotry.
Ares
they were both
didn't really show that.
Mongol, it was sexism. Ares, it was racism.
wouldn't it be like speciesism?
I guess gods are different species. Yeah, species.
Yeah, because he was really just talking out humans. He was looking down on them.
Yeah. So you have this bigotry that puts them in common. You have this sort of boyishness, like Mongol needs to explain himself and Ares needs to give his dramatic speech to leave. Yeah. Whenever there's hatred or violence. It was like a hero speech reversed. It was very strange.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. I really... Ugh. It just seems like those really get me off. I mean, turn me off.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
It's very much not the thing that I was trying to say. But it's because it's so bland, right? You know? He doesn't leave anything to the imagination, and he just gives you such a cookie-cutter thing to say.
Yeah.
I am bad. There you go.
No, there was nothing good in that. Honestly, if they had went from a Ares believing that war is a naturally good thing, if he talked about how like the manliness and the importance of war, and had a very ancient sort of medieval view of war, I think that would have been a good speech. If he was more like Mordred in kid stuff, he was childish. He never really outgrew the Middle Ages.
I thought he was very
for
childish.
him, it would have been the Dark Ages, the time in Greece when he was worshipped.
Right.
If like he felt more of that era, if he didn't have the fluency in modern times, I think that speech at the end kind of works. Because in something like the Iliad or the Odyssey, he would have had that speech. That speech would have fit. If you put different words, not that speech, but a speech at the end, where he doesn't talk about modern values like education and poverty and ignorance and stuff like that, where he talks about the manliness of war and how they were missing out by not being at war.
The Iliad was dripping with that.
Well, yeah, exactly. The Iliad, it says, isn't it awesome that they fought for 9 years? They got to be at war for 9 years. How awesome is that?
You know, actually, now that you say that really makes sense, because the Iliad was the one regarding Achilles, right? And the Trojan War?
Yeah, the Iliad was the last year of the Trojan War with Achilles and Patroclus and Agamemnon.
Who was the leader? Achilles' leader.
Agamemnon was
Agamemnon. There was a certain scene in that where Achilles was like brought to rage when he had obtained a princess, I think, or a priest's daughter. No. Agamemnon had.
Yeah.
And so they managed to get Agamemnon to give up his kidnapped woman, pretty much.
Yeah.
His prize. And he said that he's only going to give it up if he can take
one of Achilles'
woman, that he kidnapped a woman. And, that was really childish. It was such a bickering moment. Like, I want my toy, I want to play with it, and if I can't have it, no one else can have fun. He takes Achilles' thing, and Achilles goes off and starts whining to his mother. Who is
a goddess, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name
Thetis,
was. But
who we mentioned earlier in this podcast. Thetis.
Oh, Thetis? I forget.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is the good of having all this power if I can't, get what I want, if I can't do what I want? He was bickering. He was a little kid.
Yeah, they all were kind of. In today's, we've evolved past there, I think. And Ares' boyishness would have been so great if it was followed by this sort of Greek Iliad, Odyssey-ish sensibility, and he spoke in this more lyrical English. Kind of like how Mordred felt very young medieval. If he had felt very Dark Ages, like ancient Greek sort of thing, if he had mentioned Athens or something, I would have loved that. But no, he was just bland villain. His motivations were kind of unclear.
Well, his motivations were very clear in the fact that he really didn't have any strong devotion to anything besides his own entertainment.
Yeah, I guess you could say his entertainment was the motivation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He wanted to watch the war. He wanted to make war. He loved it. He reveled in it.
But then he should have like given both sides an annihilator or something.
I feel like one side clearly had the advantage over the other.
Yeah,
so
no,
he gave one side the annihilator so they would manage, something in the war.
Yeah, maybe step 2 was he takes away the annihilator, and then the Northerners come back and march down, and then
he just sends them back and monarch
forth
on all their asses. And just start bitch slapping people.
So,
but I feel like, that would have been really cool if he started talking in, that crazy olden English.
Yeah, like I think it's hexameter verse is what the Iliad and Odyssey are written into.
There is a little plane that word or that phrase got onto, and it flew right over my head. I don't know what that is.
It just means I think it just means there's 6 syllables per line.
You can't see me, but I'm nodding.
Okay. So it's not important. The important part is that the Odyssey and Iliad are really beautifully written, and he should have had
more of a tie to the Greek.
Yeah, he should have been more Greek.
Yeah.
And I think that's what holds this episode back.
It's nice to know, though, that I feel like maybe they could have had a combination of that to see him becoming modern as well. Like he was in a suit and a tie, which was nice. The villain is becoming modern, like with Mordred, when Mordred was playing video games.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great example. If he had been more like Mordred, he would have been a better villain. But they made him more like Mongol.
Yeah, Mordred did talk in Old English.
What?
Mordred did talk in Old English. In ye Old English.
Yeah.
So you'd think maybe when he wasn't when he was talking to Hephaestus, maybe, or yelling at someone else, he would have reverted to maybe an accent with a little bit more Greek in it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, and I think it's a right shame they didn't do that. They've done subtitles before in different languages.
Yeah.
And it would have been kind of cool if the gods spoke Greek to each other.
Right.
And we got subtitles for it, but it's a kid's show. They might not want it to have done too...
Yeah, everyone speaks English, thank God for that.
Yeah. So...
Even aliens speak English.
Well, it is the universal language. American English is the universal galactic language.
The rings can communicate with each other.
Well, yes, when Green Lantern's around, you're right.
Yeah, when the Green Lanterns are around, they translate.
Yeah.
Which is a nice touch.
I do like that the ring translates.
Yes.
So, I think that was really cool. Where do you put it on our list of Justice League Unlimited episodes?
I enjoyed this episode. I definitely feel like it could have a bit more to it.
I agree.
But it goes with one of those moments where you actually see the characters sort of develop,
Yeah.
We didn't really see much development, more of just revealing of character in, the past episodes.
Yeah.
Like, in the second episode, we got a lot of character revealed to us, We didn't really see anyone grow in per se, but that's not a bad thing. Yeah. In this one, we clearly see Wonder Woman, like, going through a growth of character, understanding, she may have been wrong, maybe violence in outright isn't, such a good thing after all, and maybe these villains deserve a bit more of her time.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I really did. And the fact that Wonder Woman gave that one guy the gaze of death that was so hard his grandkids are going to feel it. But, I feel it was strong but weak at the same time.
Yeah.
Is I guess what I'm saying. I think I would put it like number 3.
You would put it below for the man
this is the 4th episode, so I'd put it in the middle. If we had a 5th episode, I would probably put it at like in the 3rd slot. What would I put it above? Jeez.
Do you think it's better than kid stuff?
Huh?
Do you think it's better than kid stuff?
I thought I liked kid stuff way more than I thought I would, in all honesty. I'd say kid stuff is number 2 at the moment because the first episode was fantastic.
Okay, I think we might have to do an Elliot's list and a Jordan's list.
Yeah. And I'm really starting, I can't even remember what I said last time or if it has it pertains in any way to what I'm thinking right now. but like, I'm really reevaluating how I see the other episodes in comparison to these new episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely see. Okay, so the first episode I'd say was the best. I still say number 2 was the weakest. But I mean, we've only had 4 episodes, and they were all great episodes. So like saying it was the weakest is like saying, chocolate is your least favorite ice cream, but you're still going to eat it because it's ice cream. Yeah. So I'd say the second episode was my least. The first episode was my favorite, and then Kid Stuff comes next, and then this was number 3.
Okay, so first episode, this.
Maybe I will document that and see how it changes over the years.
Yeah, I'll put it up. Then
weeks.
Kid Stuff, and then For the Man Who Is Everything is your list. I'm going to change it so it's not one list. It's going to be one list each.
Right.
Okay, so I would put it, I think, just below For the Man Who Is Everything and above Kid Stuff.
Right.
Because I loved For the Man Who Is Everything.
Right, I know that.
And I really didn't love Kid Stuff. So I think that's where it is. I thought when I watched this episode that
where's the first episode?
What?
Where's the first episode?
Oh, the first episode's first.
Okay, yeah.
That episode's fantastic.
At least we can agree with that one.
Yeah. So let's see, what do I think? I really wanted to put this first. I was hoping this would compete. I really wanted it to because I love Greek history. It's something I read on my own.
We're going to get a crap ton more of that in the next episode, though.
We're going to get a crap ton more because we got Cersei coming up.
And another episode with Batman, Wonder Woman. Woo!
We need more Batman and Wonder Woman time.
Oh, God, so I can keep writing my fanfic. That's it.
Oh, God. That probably exists.
Oh, I'm sure it exists. I'm like 100% sure it exists.
I'm sure it exists. But I never even thought of looking it up. And now I kind of want to read it.
You're right.
So, because just watching
off to the side.
They're so perfect for each other.
Oh, I wouldn't say they're perfect for each other, but I say they work really well together.
I don't know. I feel like they have. Most people are just awed with the fact that they're talking to Batman. Like even Superman is somewhat awed with the fact he's talking to Batman. But Wonder Woman just meets him straight in a way no one else in his life does.
Yeah.
So
I love that. She's definitely she is.
She humbles
she's
him.
Spitfire.
Yeah. I like it that she humbles him in a way nobody else has the guts to do.
Spitfire.
That, he can stare Mongol down.
Yeah.
But he won't stare down her because she would win. That stare down. Not because he doesn't want to win it with her.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I love about the two of them together. So, sorry. I put it third on the list. 2. Oh no, you put it second on the list.
Right.
And there will be a link to each of our lists in the credits. Okay. Any last words, Elliot?
Buy gold.
Buy gold?
Buy gold, buy.
Buy gold, buy.
Mm-hmm.
Wise words, Elliot.
Thank you.